Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 211 of the TheSixthAxis podcast. The episode where I've got really bad cotton mouth. I've had it for a day. It's kind of weird.
Cotton eye, Joe.
Not cotton eye, cotton mouth. It's annoying. I am joined this week by Lewis Gaston. You right, Lewis? Have you got cotton mouth, or is your mouth all right?
Nope, I'm absolutely hunky-dory.
Cotton candy mouth is just delicious. I mean, the problem with that is your mouth starts it just starts dissolving. That's the problem there.
Did you see the video of the raccoon that put...
Yeah, it was so sad. I was so confused. Oh, I felt really bad for that raccoon. It's just like, I don't understand what's happening.
It's like, I just put this here, store this there.
Where's it gone?
Oh, it was pretty bad. I felt bad for that raccoon.
Yeah. Anyway, introduce me.
Oh, it's Carl.
Hi!
He's here.
I just peeked my headphones in. That was not good.
He's like a puppy. He's very excitable today.
He is. He's often excitable. I don't know why.
Just don't pee on the carpet.
Why are you so excitable, Carl?
Because I'm awesome. Carl is awesome.
That is what your Twitter handle says. I can't
That's what
argue
the internet
with that.
called me.
Just because it says it on your Twitter doesn't make it true.
And my YouTube and my Twitch.
But you picked those names. They weren't assigned to you.
No, they were assigned.
Oh, okay.
Oh, independently as well. It's just some huge coincidence.
Twitch just saw your video and was just like, well, it's got to be Carl is awesome.
Yeah. I didn't have a name. There was no username before that. It was just completely blank.
And Kevin's not here this week because someone stole all the electricity from his house.
And he's being lazy and won't power the computer by himself.
It's like Amazing Spider-Man 2.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh, that does happen in Amazing Spider-Man 2,
yeah. Did you not know that Kev powers his computer by electric eels?
Yeah. Man, I kind of blocked Amazing Spider-Man 2 out. It's a bad film.
No, you haven't. You love that film.
I don't love that film.
I like that film.
I mean,
better than the original 3.
I mean, clearly I must enjoy that film because that's why you got a Spider-Man thing for Christmas.
Well, because you obviously bought so much merchandise that you had some spares lying around.
Exactly. So on this week's episode of the podcast, we're going to talk about the news in a minute. We're also going to be looking at Firewatch again. Lewis has watched The Martian, so we'll be talking about that. Carl and I have both seen Deadpool, so that's exciting. And in the first time, also That Dragon Cancer and the mobile game Prism. But
Did you go and see Deadpool together?
No. The only film we've seen together in about 10 years is Star Wars The Force Awakens.
Yeah.
You two not like each other?
Nope.
No, we live in different cities.
We both live in cities that have an O in it, though.
What? Carl lives in Portsmouth now.
Oh, do you? Fucking
yeah, he lives near you now. And
I do, don't I? Yeah.
And I don't live in Portsmouth. I live in Brighton. So it's not convenient for us to go to the cinema together.
I didn't know that he lived in Portsmouth. All right.
And before
lived here since October.
And before that, he lived in Hastings, where it's also not convenient for me to go to the cinema.
Oh, how convenient for you!
That town doesn't have an O in its name.
I mean, if anything, my point was that it's not convenient. You've really missed the point there, Lewis.
But it's convenient for you that nothing's convenient.
Is it?
Yeah, it's convenient for you, the story that you're telling. Move on.
I refuse.
No, move on.
Because I'm confused.
Well, that's convenient.
All right, then. Moving on. Twitter hellos.
I just came to say hello.
So Benjamin Reed says hello. Joanna says hello. Indie Marathon, otherwise known as Lucy JY23, who's but is now just Indie Marathon, says hi. That's
hi,
nice.
Lucy.
Also, we'd like to make it clear that Carl is, of course, the best Lipscomb brother. That's what Twitter says. So, as we discussed minutes ago, I can't argue with Twitter. If it's on Twitter, it must be factual. I mean, the TSA podcast Twitter account said that.
Exactly.
Yeah, and that was actually sent by Twitter itself. Not,
and none of us are in control of that.
No.
Yeah.
It's just the podcast does it, or it's weird.
I did also
a sentient being.
Yeah.
I did also put out a list of things that we will be discussing today. You can read that out.
Oh, what did you say? Well, what did you say? I thought you said you didn't have any control.
Oh no, this was after that. This was after that.
We'll be discussing things like supersymmetric quantum mechanics, Spider's ability to fly in the wind, and our favourite brands of bleach.
Yep.
I like hair bleach or like toilet bleach.
Either. They're all bleachers.
Okay. I don't know any brands of hair bleach.
Yeah, I bleach my hair with
With Toilet Duck.
Yes. I couldn't think of any bleach brands.
I guess Toilet Duck is the best one because it's got a good name.
It does have a good name.
Does
But I
it,
don't know
though?
if that's just Bleach.
Yeah.
Why would you name a bleach after a duck?
I don't know, that is confusing, but I still like it as a name. It's because it's got that, like, bendy neck thing, you know?
That all toilet bleaches have.
But they copied it from Toilet Duck. I bet you they did.
Oh, that might be what it's called, duck.
Yeah, that's what I mean, you see. Anyway, time for the time for the news. In the news this week, Peter Chapman is playing XCOM 2.
That news?
It's just popped up on my laptop because it's got Steam open. That says he's playing XCOM 2.
Convenient.
When he could be on the podcast.
Oh, I didn't invite him on the podcast. He was on Weather Podcast yesterday. And then he was playing Ark Survival Evolved. Literally, as we were about to start podcasting. I was talking to him on Skype, and I saw Peter is playing Ark Survival Evolved pop up on Steam. I was like, we're literally about to start. He was like, yeah, it's probably not the best time to play this for the first time.
You know what is news?
What?
The Division beta on Xbox One just finished downloading as you invited me to this call.
Yeah, but doesn't start till tomorrow.
No, it starts today on Xbox One.
Oh, I thought the PS4 one starts tomorrow, I guess. Then.
PS4 and PC start tomorrow.
Oh.
I only downloaded it on there and not PC because I wanted it earlier. And now I'm playing it.
Well, you can play it after this podcast.
No.
Oh. Is that just it? You're going to bed
No.
immediately.
I'm falling asleep straight away in the chair.
Okay. Don't fall asleep before the podcast is over.
Where do you live, Carl?
In Portsmouth, we told you that.
Yeah, no, but where?
Road, just off Road. I really shouldn't be saying
I was going to say, I'd probably bleep that out. Don't give like your exact... I was like, an area, not just, I live exactly... Here's the address.
I know it.
Do you know Clydebank Road?
I do.
Oh, okay.
I've lived here all my life.
No, it just... Because it's kind of side streety and a little bit tucked away is all I meant.
It's also verging on Buckland.
I don't know that. I don't know any areas of Portsmouth. I know Fratton and Southsea. That's all I know.
So you do know areas of Portsmouth. You're just lying now.
The first time it took me to walk from my house to the town centre, the first time it took me to walk back, it took me an hour.
Really?
It's a 10-minute walk.
What? Did it take you an hour?
Because I thought I went the right way, and then I was in loads of between flats, and Portsmouth is fucking confusing. It was just made by a drunk man.
No, it's not. Portsmouth's got like 3 main roads.
No,
one in the middle, one on either edge.
Once you get
Make it to one of them, you know where you are.
Yeah,
no, but that's the problem.
Residential area.
Yeah, I was going to say,
got lost.
You got stuck
there.
in between the main roads, then you're fucked.
Yeah,
They're all just vertical, though.
That's all I was trying to do was get to a main road, but it's all triangles. It's not straight lines or anything. So it's like losing my bearings constantly and facing an opposite direction.
Anyway, that's probably going to have to get cut out because you gave away your address.
That's all right.
All right.
How's that for visitors, aren't you, Carl?
Yeah.
I don't know if my parents are.
Oh, do you live there with...
Yeah.
Is that where your mum and dad have moved?
That's why my mum and my
stepdad?
stepdad, yeah, they live there.
You can cut out the Clyde Bank bit.
That's
It's
all
a
right,
nice-
they won't mind.
It's a nice
Live-
house.
To anyone nearby, live near J-Mart. There you go.
Oh.
They can find that out. That's on a crossroad, pretty much. So
And the cars parking is weird. Anyway.
it is.
Now
You're narrowing it down for them.
in the news this week, you can now buy Black Ops 3 multiplayer on its own for PC. So you can...
No, thanks.
Shut up. Anyway.
Sorry.
But yeah, if you want to, you can just get it. It's like 12 quid, $15 on Steam. There are quite a few caveats, so you obviously don't have access to the campaign, but you also don't have access to zombies. You don't get Easter egg modes of Dead Ops Arcade 2 or Nightmares mode. You can only play ranked matches, and you can't prestige or fresh start your profile. So you're basically capped out at level 55 unless you want to pay for the full version of the game. But you can upgrade from the full version to the game for the full price minus what you paid for the starter pack.
Okay.
That seems a bit dodgy.
That sounds like those versions of games that Russia gets.
Yeah. It's just, if you're going to sell the multiplayer, sell the multiplayer.
Yeah, don't just
be like, we sold a bit of the multiplayer. This is a weird
here's the
business
husk
strategy.
of our multiplayer.
Yeah, it's just a very odd business tactic to be like, to just go, okay, you can have it, but also not all of it. You can have this bit.
This bit's mine. No.
We've carved out the exact set of stuff you can have, and we've left it there. It's an odd decision, we'll admit that, but that's what we've gone for. Yeah, I don't know why they've done that. But I like the general idea, but if you're going to do it, just sell the actual multiplayer.
Yeah.
Yeah. But given how...
And the cost of it, that's not cheap.
I'd say if it was the full multiplayer, that's very cheap. £12.
But that's what I'm saying. It's not the full multiplayer, is
No,
it?
Yeah, but
exactly.
considering pretty much all of Call of Duty is just a multiplayer, that's probably why they're doing it like this.
Yeah, I guess you couldn't sell it for super cheap because, as Carl says, like that's the main appeal of Call of Duty.
Yeah,
but also on PC, the full game's not that dear anyway.
No, that's probably true. The full game's probably only like £30.
Yeah.
So, it's not a decision, but I would sort of hope it does edge towards them just selling the Call of Duty multiplayer as its own thing if people want just that bit.
Look at that, it was on the front page of Steam.
Yeah. Also in the news this week, talking of Steam, Quantum Break PC won't be coming to Steam, but it will be coming to PC in general via the Windows 10 store, thingy. This has infuriated a number of people who were like, you said it will be only on the Xbox One. And then Microsoft went,
what the fuck is wrong with those people? I don't understand.
I know, right? Just chill. It's not a big deal.
The thing is, also, if you pre-order it digitally on Xbox One, you get a free copy of the PC version of the game.
Yeah, with you get cross save, right?
Yeah. I don't know. Do you? I didn't know about that. Possibly. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised.
And you also get Alan Wake with it.
Yeah, only on the Xbox though.
Yeah, but you get the backwards
you
compatible
get,
version
both Alan Wakes.
Yeah. Actually, it's not back. It's the forwards compatible version, I suppose. Thinking about it, we keep saying like the backwards compatible version of 360 games, but it's not. It's the forwards compatible version of 360 games because they play on Xbox One now.
You've just blown my mind.
Yeah. But anyway, yeah. So you get cross save with it, so that's pretty neat. And it's just like
Black Ops 3 on Steam is £40.
Oh, so that's actually is a fairly significant saving then, Lewis.
But again, it's not the full.
No.
It would be if it was the full multiplayer, but it's not.
I think if they were selling the full multiplayer for like £25, I think that'd be quite reasonable.
Yeah, fair enough. But the thing is, as I said, that's the majority of why people play those games. The campaign is kind of like a side thing.
But you think they'd chuck in zombies as well?
Yeah, I guess so.
I'd think more that they would sell zombies on its own rather than the rest of the multiplayer.
I think the thing that weirds me out with that as well is, like, if you're going to break it into components like that, break zombies out as a bit you can buy as well. Because I bet you there'll be loads of people who buy, I want this bit, but I don't want the campaign.
Yeah, there are probably loads of people that never like the actual game, they just like the zombies.
Yeah.
Do you reckon that will be a thing properly in the future?
What, will they just sell bits
you can... Yeah, like pretty much most games will have different, like, because that's already happening quite a lot.
I don't
like
think it'll be
to that extent.
I don't think it'll be most games. I think it'll be games like Call of Duty where there's quite a big.
Sorry, yeah, I meant games that have their big different sections, quite like Call of Duty or Battlefield.
I think
Halo.
I think those games will. But I would say the majority of games won't. Where like multiplayer is an extra, is like its own. Well, it isn't as big a deal as it is in games like Call of Duty and Halo, etc., where it's a significant part of it.
Have like a build your own first person shooter.
Or Trigger Happy Havoc Dragon Romper.
What?
Yes.
That was on the main page of Steam.
Oh, okay.
It's a weird name.
I thought you were just saying words.
Yeah.
We can all do that.
Anyway, going back to Quantum Break.
Ceramic bowl apple.
Going back to Quantum Break, yeah, I mean, Lewis, what do you think? Is it weird that people are irritated that you can now play this on PC as well? People cancelled their pre-orders because they were so angry that Microsoft were like, it's on PC and Xbox One.
It's stupid. Why?
Yeah.
Why do they care so much that they would cancel a game they obviously want to play because other people can play it too?
I mean,
I don't understand that when it's PS4 and Xbox.
Yeah, I was going to say that. It's not even going at.
even, it's even more stupid when it's
I mean,
just because it's on Windows.
I guess perhaps their point is, hey, we bought an Xbox One because we thought these games were going to be exclusive. And now
they should be saying that, not I'm cancelling my order, you fuckwits.
Well, I think that's probably
I've
why
seen people say that, and I've also seen people say that it was deceptive marketing. And I was like, how was that deceptive marketing? They said, oh, well, I guess the framework's close enough. We might as well just release it for.
Well, that's the thing with the Windows 10 thing now. Is they're like, we kind of have this common code base, so it's pretty easy for us to port stuff.
I'm sure it was almost a side project in a way. Like, they were like, can we get this to work? And say if they got the cross saves, they were like, can we get cross saves to work? And the thing, they were like, yeah, we got that to work.
Yeah,
fine, fuck it, let's release it for PC as well. It's
not like if it was a PS4 game, because where you've got you're supporting a bunch of platforms, it becomes slightly more complicated. With this, they both run on DirectX and all that kind of stuff. The Windows 10 runs on Xbox One and is running on PCs, so. It's a different version, but I still imagine it's probably one of it's probably of the available combinations, it's probably the simplest port setup,
Who's making Quantum Break?
Remedy.
Yeah, Remedy. That's where you get Alan Wake. They're the people who made Alan Wake.
Yeah. See, if I was them,
they're Swedish people, I think.
If I was them, I'd just turn around and go, you know what? Quit your bitching. We're taking it to PS4.
They can't because Microsoft owns that studio.
I'd love to do that. Just as a developer, I'd just
version of Heavy
Monica.
Rain people.
Oh right,
yeah. It would be great though if Microsoft were like, "You have angered us so much, we're releasing this on our rival platform."
Yeah, we're giving it to Sony.
Yeah.
Oh, what if Microsoft themselves said that?
Yeah,
yeah.
They could. I wouldn't be surprised.
It'd just be amazing. They'd shut them up.
It's like, shut the fuck up, or we're giving this to the Sony, and they can have it as well.
I'd say props to Phil Spencer, because I was following that stuff on Twitter.
What, the guy from Location?
Yeah, for Phil Spencer.
Yeah, he just got involved for no reason.
We've discussed this many times.
There can't be two Phil Spencers.
No, it's the same guy.
Where's does Kirsty Allsop have is she like the creative director?
Yes.
Cool. Okay.
Yeah, I believe so. He was obviously, because it all spurred from him sending. Well, I mean, they had their whole Quantum Break Day, which announced loads of stuff about it. But then it came after that. Phil Spencer sent out a tweet about it, and it was one guy called should I say his Twitter name, because he does YouTube stuff? I don't know if I want to give him promotion.
No, don't give him promotion. If he was a fuckwit,
he was a fuckwit.
Oh, then fuck him.
But yeah, he basically sent back at Phil Spencer saying, "I'm cancelling my pre-order," and that's what sparked all this off. Because Phil Spencer then replied to him, which gave it more promotion. But there was probably about 200-300 replies in that comment chain, and he didn't reply constantly to all of them, because how can you, and why the fuck would you anyway? But he did reply to a lot of the big points.
That's cool.
And and he really tried to stay as level-headed as he could while still being like, "No, you're an idiot." He did say stuff like, "Why would you do something like this? Why would you go against a game that you clearly want to play?" All the stuff that we've already said. But then, someone said about it's deceptive marketing. He said, "Well, we've tried to keep everything in a time frame that we could announce it, and but I will take that criticism on board." So yeah, he was quite good with it while still not backing down.
I hope Microsoft presentation at E3 now details games in excruciating detail
to really bore and annoy people.
Yeah, I was like, "Well, you told us we were deceptive marketing, that we didn't give you all the information, so here's all the information."
Well, when they announce a game, it says exclusively on Xbox One, and possibly and names every console ever.
Yeah. Exclusivity deal might also appear on blah blah blah.
Yeah.
We'll be releasing on everything,
yeah,
including iPads, iPhones.
Have you got the Sinclair news, Chris?
Oh yeah, they're making
the ZX Spectrum handheld.
Yeah, that's weird.
Was it Spectrum or Sinclair?
Sinclair's the guy, isn't he? I thought it was the
Wait.
ZX.
Oh, I don't know. Let me find the.
No, because I don't know. Maybe there was a Sinclair system, is what I'm.
It's Sinclair
I see.
Vega. That's what it is.
Yeah.
It is the ZX Spectrum.
Yeah.
Out-
Okay.
Sinclair ZX Spectrum Vega handheld.
Yeah.
Outside of Noffy, I don't think anyone's going to buy it.
I might get it.
The Spectrum was our first one, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's the first game console me and Carl had.
Yeah. If they release Booty, then I'll buy it.
Oh, it's the best game.
Yeah. Have you tried playing that recently?
No.
Fuck, that's hard.
It's like a proper, it's like Super Meat Boy. Just
I couldn't get through the first
ludicrously
level.
hard.
Through the first screen. It took me about like half an hour to get past the first screen. I got to the second one. I was like, I can't do this.
I gave up on Super Meat Boy when I played that.
Yeah.
I was like, fuck this.
So the handheld, it's the Sinclair ZX Spectrum Vega handheld, which follows last year's Sinclair ZX Spectrum Vega, not handheld, I guess.
Yeah. I did.
Oh, we were both right then. It's a Sinclair ZX Spectrum.
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
Yeah.
You are both correct. Yeah. It comes with 1,000 licensed games built in and costs £100.
That seems very expensive.
So the handheld version is the ZX Spectrum Vega Plus. That's the handheld version of it.
I don't think there are enough letters and numbers there.
It's a slightly confusing naming scheme, but I'm tempted. That is actually tempting.
What, for £100?
I don't know.
God,
Well, no,
I think
no.
Sinclair had the company. The Spectrum was the console of it.
Yeah.
Or one of them, maybe at least. Just looking into it a bit further. But yeah, no, I would want to play it. But yeah, I don't know if I have £100. The actual normal version, the home version, the just the Spectrum Vega game console is 100 as well.
Yeah, so I don't know if it's the Vega Plus is 100. Let me just see if I can find.
It has the most uncomfortable looking controller you can have.
Yeah, it's £100. So I mean, in a way, if you compare it to the normal one, £100 is actually a pretty good deal, given that the non-mobile version also costs £100. But the home version looks. I mean, this looks cool because it's like a modern twist on the Spectrum styling, while the normal ZX Spectrum Vega looks like a really retro kind of style.
Yeah, the handheld has a comfortable looking design, whereas if you look at the controller for the home console version, it's just a rectangle.
Yeah.
It looks, you can't curve your hands around it.
I mean, that is correct.
It's like a Super Nintendo.
Yeah.
Yeah. That is what you would expect almost.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know, it's kind of cool though.
Oh,
If
if
it's
it's
got
the game Pedro.
Does it have booty on it, Carl? Find out. It's important.
Okay, you carry on with the news and I'll...
Oh, also it has an SD card slot, and I assume the Vega Plus has that, so you can load like even the games that aren't licensed. You can definitely not just load ROMs. That's definitely not what they're implying there, because definitely people would give a shit. That people are going to be like, "I'm very angry that you're loading these 40-year-old games or whatever, 30-year-old games, I guess now. That there's no other way of playing anymore. We're very, very cross that you've loaded them from tape onto an SD card. That must have been quite arduous in and of itself, but still we're cross."
What do you mean it's also available on Windows?
Yeah. Last bit of news.
Sorry, did you see the that was crowdfunded?
Stop bringing me news, Carl.
This is the same bit of news.
Right.
Before you move on to
Yeah,
the
it was
next one.
crowdfunded for like £200,000 ish.
Yeah, do you know how long it took?
How long? Like a
48
day?
hours.
Oh, that's pretty impressive.
Yeah.
That's pretty
It's
good.
something that we're going to say not many people cared about.
Yeah. Wait, so is it still ongoing then?
I don't know.
Wait, it's on Indiegogo. Go Vega Plus.
I'm trying to find a games list for it, but there doesn't seem to be one.
Oh yeah, so it's still got like a month left to go on it. So yeah, it's already at 190,000 of £100,000, and it launched like 2 days ago.
What? That doesn't make any sense. Why is it still going on then?
Now that's how like Kickstarter works, you know.
Yeah,
like,
they just get more money.
you keep going, and then that's how you get like stretch goals and stuff.
Yeah, when it's software.
Well, no,
or anything like that.
Yeah,
But-
there'd be a stretch goal for this, where they're like, "Oh, we'll improve the battery or whatever," you know?
Yeah,
Or-
but they've already released it.
No, they haven't released it.
Oh, I thought you said they released it 2 days ago.
No, they reached it 2 days ago.
Oh, sorry. Okay.
Yeah, they reached the.
I did think they released it really fast.
No, I think they. Oh no, so I meant launched is they launched the campaign 2 days ago. I think.
Oh, okay. It
And
can't
then-
have been 2 days ago. I
Yeah.
heard about this a few days ago, I thought.
Oh, I don't know.
I don't know. I don't have a job. Time's a wibbly wobbly thing for me.
2 days ago, 2 days. Yeah, so it's about 2 days old as of recording. So like Monday, Tuesday, something like that. It looks like it launched.
Yeah. Oh, you can get in different colours.
Yeah.
Red, white and blue. And black.
Okay, so what we were saying about the normal ZX Spectrum Vega, that's £100, and this is going to be £100, which actually makes this a great deal because you can plug this into your TV as well. So it's a handheld,
really? Yeah.
but you can put it on your TV as well. So that's great.
Yeah.
And they're saying they're looking at the ability to connect a keyboard to it.
Huh. I wonder if they just stopped
So-
selling the original one then.
Yeah, I would suspect so because this seems like it's going to be better.
Yeah, this probably came off of the money, off of
Yeah.
the original, including the Indiegogo campaign as well,
Yeah.
obviously.
But yeah, it's pretty cool that and they're like, hey, we support all these popular formats for ZX Spectrum games that definitely just aren't ROM formats. But it's kind of cool, and I'm really interested.
Yeah, I don't know how you buy games for it. I'm not sure if you can.
You're definitely not buying games for it.
Yeah, but surely they have some way of having licensed games for it.
Well, I think it comes with 1,000 licensed games.
Just say, doesn't
Oh,
it come with
sorry.
1,000?
It comes with 1,000 licensed games. And
yes, okay.
there's
and
like-
then you have to see SD.
Yeah, SD slot for other stuff. And there's like 13,000 games for the Spectrum or something like that. But I would assume most of those are from companies that don't exist anymore, so it's kind of difficult to license them.
Yeah. And I
Or
imagine
they're just shit.
Yeah, I was going to say, I imagine like 10,000 of those are just terrible.
But they do say it will come with every single one. It will work with all 14,000 games. As far as they know, there's not a game it won't work with because they've built like a.
Have they tested that?
They haven't, but they've basically just
Then
Take a
I don't want
really
to hear
long
it, 'cause
time.
they've just rebuilt a ZX Spectrum with modern technology, so it can be super small.
if they haven't tested it, I don't want to hear it because that's misinforming us.
No, get it and then try each one yourself and then
Yeah,
get your money back.
complain.
Yeah, write a list of those that don't work. I think you'll find that Asteroids XL doesn't work.
I think what's going to be interesting is I imagine the battery life's going to be nuts, right? Because
It has to be.
it can't require like a lot of power to run, so
Yeah.
the battery life probably. I'd also imagine the actual chip running it is probably fucking tiny, so it probably is just it's probably just all battery. Like the whole thing's probably just a huge battery. It's kind of cool. Anyway,
The crazy thing is, you consider the price of that compared to the price of some medium level phones.
yeah.
Like, that are way more powerful than that.
Yeah.
So I can't find a list of the 1,000 games. I'm assuming Booty is number 1 on that list, though.
Almost certainly.
What is Booty?
It's just a really good platformer about
Pirates.
pirates.
Oh.
Yeah. It's really fucking hard, as Carl says.
Okay, don't type in just Booty into Google.
Why? Yeah, you idiot.
He says like that. He did that by accident. He totally meant to.
Oh, yeah.
So interestingly, there is a £300 perk for it, where you get a original Spectrum, a 1982 rubber-keyed Spectrum computer signed by Rick Dickinson, but you don't
Wait, who's
get it's one of the developer dudes for it.
I thought it was just like a random guy.
Definitely not just some guy.
It could have been, what's his... Oh, no, wait. What's the Cheapest Chips guy's name?
Oh yeah, I know what you mean.
David
David
Dickinson.
Yeah, it might have been his dad. It's like they were just friends with him.
Yeah, Rick Dickinson was the guy who created all the industrial designs of Sir Clive Sinclair's ZX computers. So you get that for the £300 one. There's only 10 available, but you don't get a Vega Plus at that tier, so you have to spend another £100 to get the actual Vega Plus.
The hell is the point of that
Hilarious.
tier at all?
Oh, that's great.
Make that 350 and then get a Vega Plus with it.
Yeah. I can't. Yeah.
Mind you, for collectors, that's not a.
No,
That's not a.
that's probably a good thing for collectors. Yeah. Anyway, last bit of actual news because we're half an hour in and we're still talking about ZX Spectrums. The NAC 2 has basically leaked slightly. As usual, coming from LinkedIn or something like that. Someone listed NAC 2 on their CV. It was a 3D animator named Mindy Liang, who is from a Taiwanese-based company called XPEC Entertainment Inc. And she was a 3D animator for it. So yeah, NAC 2 looks like it's coming. Kind of interesting. The first one wasn't that well received, I would imagine. I don't think it was. So,
It got average.
Yeah. But I guess that's like not a particularly difficult game for them to bring out a new version of. It's not the most intensive, but
I'm
hopefully.
surprised though.
Yeah, I am slightly surprised, but I also think it's definitely a game that had like a lot of potential that they could explore with it.
Yeah. The only thing is, I think they should start using names for these games, like for the people that aren't necessarily involved in the entire project.
Oh yeah,
like how they do with like movie sets and stuff.
Yeah.
Like because LinkedIn is just ruining everything.
No, it's just fucking idiots who can't work out that you don't have to list stuff that isn't out on your CV.
Well, yeah, I don't mean LinkedIn's doing it like themselves.
I'm just like, just put unreleased project on there.
I'm surprised they didn't have to do like an NDA or anything.
They will have.
Yeah.
The people are just, I don't know.
They don't understand it, or they're just. A lot of them, I think, possibly they may not be that clued into the industry that they're kind of working for.
Yeah.
Because they, especially if it's like an animator, they might have come from something else.
Yeah.
Or they just do it to get noticed.
Yeah, maybe.
Anyway, let's talk about Firewatch. What we did. Firewatch. Firewatch. Carl, you've played Firewatch. Lewis, you've also played Firewatch. You talked a bit about Firewatch last week, Lewis.
I did.
But you finished it now.
I have. Yeah,
Carl hasn't finished it yet, so no spoilers.
No. So last week I'd only just played the first bit of it. And I was quite positive about it then, but having completed it, I absolutely loved it. I think it was a brilliant experience in both, visual side of things, but also the narrative. And I just, the thing that struck me the most was how simple it comes across, but actually how complex it is.
Did you get the turtle?
Did I get a turtle?
Wait, what? You don't know about the turtle?
No.
Oh my god.
I didn't get it. I don't know what you're talking about. How did
you have a good game experience? There's a turtle. You can find him. Apparently there's multiple areas that he appear in, like on different days.
Mm.
And you literally, it's just a turtle in a shell, like hidden away. And you walk over to him and you press a button, and then it has a button prompt saying adopt. And then you pick up the turtle and you look at him like you do other like items in the game, turn him around.
What?
And he sticks himself out of the shell and looks really happy. And then you have a radio conversation with what's her face? Adele or whatever. Beelzebub. I can't remember what her name is.
What is her name? It's Henry and Delilah.
Delilah, yes. You have a conversation with her, and she asks what you're going to name it, and then you have an option of like pun names, and the name I picked was Turt Reynolds.
Oh, I didn't get the turtle. I didn't see it.
Ruined. Gonna have to play through the game again.
Yep. I might have to just adopt a pet turtle. But yeah, no, so I completed it, and like I say, the thing that struck me was how simple it is, but actually how complex it is. Because, like I said last week, not only do you connect, or I did at least, connect with the characters almost immediately, because the voice acting is brilliant and the script is brilliant. But there comes a point in the game where something happens. You find something. You're led to something, and it changes the way you think and play the rest of or it did me at least anyway. So you find whatever it is. I won't spoil it. And from that moment on, that made no sense at all. From that moment on, I became a bit of a paranoid wreck. And I even started to change the way I acted towards Delilah. My responses towards her changed, and it shines the light on you as a player.
Yeah.
And it tells you what you're like as a player.
I'm assuming you're talking about from the point that I've already had.
From the tent. And you find the report. Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
because I've got up to, I don't want to say, but I've got, can I just say I got through the fence?
Yeah.
That's where I've done. I've got through the fence, and then that's where I stopped playing.
Yeah.
But yeah, I had a similar thing, but I was trying to be as nice to her as possible.
Yeah.
But while still being very skeptical and cautious.
See, I fell hook, line, and don't worry, people, this isn't a spoiler. We're not ruining the story for you or anything. But so I played it just as a willing participant. So I just automatically assumed that Delilah's on my side, and therefore I'll be nice and polite and gentlemanly and jolly and things like that. And then as soon as I saw the report that's in the tent, I immediately changed the way I acted to Delilah and chose my responses to be a bit more curt and a bit more rude and a bit more forceful and things like that. And there's also a point where it says that me as a player tends to stick to the paths, and from that point on I didn't. And so yeah, just a very simple suggestion was enough to, like I say, turn me into a paranoid wreck, change the way I acted towards other players, and also change the way I played the game itself, which I thought was ingenious.
That's to say that it doesn't, at that point, it's not saying that Delilah is anything but what she says. It's just installs that into your mind that the possibility is there.
Yeah, it doesn't show you a bit of evidence that proves Delilah's guilty of something. It just is, it's just a suggestion on you as a player, and it completely changed the way I acted and played the game, which, like I say, I thought was ingenious and really split the game into two halves for me, because the first half was walking around, appreciating the visuals, enjoying the setting and the
Throwing
mystery.
a baseball into a toilet.
I haven't done that.
What is wrong? Oh, you stuck to the paths. That's your thing.
I threw a stereo into the water.
Yeah,
I'm assuming everyone would have done that.
No, I think they stole it. I think the game thinks I stole the stereo because I picked it up and then I was just seeing if I could turn it off. And then I went to put it down, but before I put it down, Delilah got on the phone to me and she was like, "Oh God, what's that noise?" And he's like, "Oh, I kind of took their stereo." I was like, "No, I'm still right next to the rock. It was on. I'm putting it back."
Is that because you run out of time to make your decision?
I guess, but there wasn't one of those running counters like there normally is.
So yeah, I've done a couple of things. I found the toilets and I found a baseball, and there's loads of pine cones. I don't know what you can do with the pine cones, but they're everywhere.
That's what I thought.
But I never found out if there was anything you could do with it. But
I want to know about those horns and everything in the chest.
Oh yeah.
Oh, so that never gets dealt with then.
Well, not that I found. Maybe there is something.
There's
out there.
probably something that's off the path.
Might have to go and have a look. But yeah. So like I say, the first half is me appreciating the visuals, doing the walking, getting used to the map, and enjoying the mystery of it all. And then there comes that point where it just changes the mood of the game. It becomes a bit more intense, and I become a bit more sort of interested in self-preservation than anything else. And I remember wondering, one of the last comments I had to Delilah was very abrupt, very honest, and potentially harmful. And I wondered if it changed the outcome of the ending, because up until that point we were on quite good terms, and she even flirted with me and told me over the radio what she was going to do at night time and all that lot.
Did you have the bit where it said that she was annoyed?
Yes.
You overhear that phone call.
Yes, yeah.
And then you reply in a way just like asking what it was.
Yeah, and then she gets Larry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was like, what the fuck?
Well,
but yeah, I kind of wish I chose the other option just to keep her a bit nicer, but I don't know if that actually does anything.
No, that wasn't the problem for me, because she apologised for that. She apologised for the way she acted and said she agreed that it must have sounded strange.
Yeah, she apologised, but it was quite a little bit down the line.
It was a bit of a weird phone call. But no, this one was towards the end when she was talking about the main point of the story.
Mm.
And I was just blunt with her, and because my attitude towards the way I speak to people had changed because of the incident in the tent. Yeah. So I decided to go from being a yes man and a consoler to just putting it all out there. And then in the end, she was still friends and stuff. But I wonder if it was a set narrative, or if my decision to change the way I speak to her had an outcome. Because I think if it did, that would be a really interesting side to the game and an interesting dynamic. So yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed it. So.
Yeah, I think I'm about halfway through, possibly maybe slightly over. I'm not sure. What's it, about 4 or 5 hours?
Yeah, it's not overly long.
Yeah, so I'm loving it at the moment. I've been doing a Let's Play series on it, which I haven't actually released yet. So I haven't got all the way through, but yeah, it's one of my favourite games so far of this year. And you completely ignored the opening to that story and why you're in the forest in the first place, which is the most horrible thing, like so heartbreaking.
Who ignored it?
You did, when you started talking about it. When you gave the story to the game.
Yeah, no, that's because I talked about that last week.
Oh, did you? Oh, sorry. Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry, I don't think I got to that point. I
did mention that it starts with a very simple text-based introduction, because I said the thing that really surprised me was how simple it was, but how well it was written, because it again, like the dialogue with the walkie-talkies, it connects you straight into somebody you didn't even, you don't know what they look like, you don't know what their personality is like, but you get connected to them quite straight away.
Yeah, it's very good at doing that kind of thing, connecting you without any tangible interaction.
That's actually really interesting.
Yeah, it's very well written and more thought about as well. Game. Yeah.
It does. Yeah, I really want to spend some time with it. It does seem like a really interesting title.
And the Campo Santo are getting a lot of shit from dickheads who think it's too short. And I think, well, actually, it's £13.
Yeah.
Which isn't a lot of money at all for 5-6 hours max entertainment, depending on how you play and how long you spend investigating. It's one of the most interesting looking games out there, and it's unique. It's I just don't get people that just aren't happy with anything. Like, what more do you want for £13? Would get you a couple of hours in a cinema.
Yeah.
Or an hour at bowling, or not even that, I don't think, for bowling. But you got £13. You got.
Oh, I wish you could go bowling.
I love bowling.
Yeah, I love bowling. Bowling's great. Let's go bowling.
Easter half terms.
Let's just stop podcasting. Bowl. Let's go bowling right now.
Let's go bowling. Leave Carl to come back.
He can come with you. Give him a lift.
Oh yeah.
Done. Carl, we're going bowling.
What? Sweet.
Actually, out of this scenario, it's me and Carl that could go bowling.
Yeah, it's true. You could go bowling.
Could go bowling.
Bowling's pretty great.
I was just saying, for people moaning at Campo Santo for how short the game is, and I was just saying, for £13, you're getting 5-6 hours entertainment of a quality game, and I just don't understand why people aren't happy, because that would get you a cinema trip, it would get you bowling, it would get you, wouldn't get you dinner out. Well, depending on where you went, it'd probably get you a McDonald's, but you just think, what more do you want? You've got...
Yeah. It's more interesting than most of the fucking films out there as well.
Yeah. And you can take it at your own pace. You can start working things out and just appreciate. And
you can have completely different versions of the game depending on who you play. One can get a turtle, and the other can fail the game entirely by not getting the turtle,
and then get mocked by the game for the fact that I stick to the paths.
Yeah.
And the only reason I stuck to the paths is because I didn't have a pointy thing helping me. I wasn't confident in my map skills.
Oh man, I was constantly having that map up. And the fact that I was let's playing that as well, I was like, well, I'd get off the path and then be walking for like 5 minutes down the wrong direction, and then feel so stupid because it's all recorded that I've looked at this map and then walked the opposite direction.
The thing that did me in was like the map. Obviously, when you look at it, is orientated one way, and the compass is in the top corner. And then when you put it all away, it's all back to front. And even though I got used to the fact that it's all back to front, it still wasn't the direction that I was expecting it to be. It's like, no, that's east. It's like, why? Why am I going west?
Yeah. I wish that one small thing on that map is that on your character it had a little arrow saying which way you're facing.
Yes.
And then that would make it so much easier.
I quite like the fact that it didn't though, because it does.
It adds 2D like kind of.
And it makes you feel the vulnerable in a national park.
In that, it kind of felt like a horror game at times when it's obviously not. But just because you got that word perfectly right, how vulnerable I felt a lot of the time. And you start to learn landmarks, but it's the bits in between the landmarks because the paths it's a forest, so they're not like straight paths, they're really windy, and then you can be walking down a path and then suddenly get to a landmark, and be like, oh fuck, why am I here? And then to turn back and then try and find your way again.
I like the because last week before I got into the meat of it, I was wondering whether or not it would be sandbox or guided, and it's a bit of a mix of both. It's mainly guided, but then there are areas where you can sort of venture out into a bit more. But I like the fact that there were interesting things around them, even if they didn't, come to anything. They were just there for viewing, like the snowmobiles. Have you come across them yet?
Yeah.
Like that was interesting, and
picked parts and stuff.
Yeah.
Like, why are they like? I can understand, but why are they that picked for parts?
But also, why are there snowmobiles in a national park that's like
Delilah does say
on fire most of the time?
Delilah does say. You have a little conversation with her. Yeah, you might have to pick the right option, but she says that it gets like in that area or something. It gets completely snowed under. And there's a little bit on it, and she says about people having snowmobiles and stuff.
That makes.
But then
sense.
you say like, oh, it's really like there's no engine and it's all picked. And she was like, well, I can understand why like people would take an engine, but in this case, it seems really weird.
Yeah,
there is a thing that I'm pretty sure that because it's kind of semi-sandbox, there are conversations that, as you said, you're not sure whether the narrative changes, but there's definitely conversations that slightly change on what has happened.
Yeah.
So you could discover something, and then before it would be a perfectly normal conversation, and after like that turning point in the game, it gets a bit weirder. And she's like, that is so, like, considering everything that's happened, that's really strange. Like, and you have a more of an in-depth conversation about it rather than just like, hey, look at this.
Yeah.
Which it gives you the option to radio her constantly. Like, it's like
that,
I saw an acorn. Like, she's like, okay, cool. But yeah, I do like that
because it gives you the option of either being a recluse or needing that support. But which I think again is quite indicative of the psychology that's hidden in the game, is that you can either be that player that doesn't need support and doesn't need to talk to somebody, or like me, you can be the person that needs that interaction, which I didn't think I would, because I can be quite a solitary person. I don't particularly like crowds, and there are times where I just want my own company and stuff. But so I thought I'd be all right, but it turns out that actually I wanted to radio her with everything that I found and every small detail. And I think that's also partly because of the relationship that they had and the dynamic that they create, because they're quite fun to listen to. And
they have some of, like, for a game that has quite a lot of emotional tension, especially at the start.
Mm.
They have a very good, and I was laughing so much through that game.
Yeah.
Like, their personalities gel so well.
Yeah. And like I said
and
last
people
week,
say
it's
so funny, so good.
It's not even the fact that they're like what they're saying is a joke or is even that funny. It's just the way they say it to each other, and it's the speed of their reactions to each other and things like that that make it a funny interaction.
Yeah.
Well,
it's very well written.
Talking about things where you've got a lot of support from a distant person. Lewis, you have seen The Martian.
How long did it take you to come up with that?
That segue works, right?
It does.
Yeah.
Good. I'm glad.
Yeah.
I've been wanting to see it since it's been out in the cinema, really, but I never got around to it. So it's on TV now.
Oh yeah.
And so I went and got that.
Have you seen the thing about Matt Damon in every film he's in? Or
yes.
most
How much money they spent?
Yeah. How much
Stop
money
rescuing
America's
Matt Damon. It's fine.
spent saving him? Yeah.
Something like $600 billion.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I've been wanting to watch it for a while, and I did enjoy it. It's forgotten what I was going to say.
Is it good?
It is good. It is good. I liked it a lot.
That's the main point.
I like obviously the majority of it is about Matt Damon's character, Mark Watney, being on Mars and having to deal with it and having to deal with the loneliness and the fact that you can't grow anything on Mars and he's running out of everything. But there's also a really good team of like supporting cast behind him with the likes of Jeff Daniels, Chiwetel Ejiofor, Kristen Wiig, Sean Bean, Donald
Does Sean Bean die?
No.
What?
I know.
I thought that was like contractually the thing.
It's unless it's in the credits, someone just fires a bow and arrow into his chest.
It's after the post-credit scene. Just a satellite lands on him.
Just a picture of Sean Bean that says like 1940, whatever, to 2000. So yeah, there's a really good supporting cast and they're really top-notch actors and they're all on their game. Donald Glover was in there as well, which was quite nice
really?
to
I like
see.
Donald Glover.
Yeah, he's good. And yeah, I did enjoy it. I've got the book as well. Normally I would have read the book before the film, but I've got a couple of other books that I'm in the middle of at the moment. So I'm interested to see or read rather some of the science behind it, because apparently the book is filled with loads of sciencey bits.
Yeah, so from what I understand, the book is like super hardcore into the science stuff.
Yeah. Which I don't know if I'll be, depending on how deep it goes, I don't know if I'll be able to cope with or not. But the film does a very good job of making it sciencey, but dumbing it down so that it's a bit more enjoyable and a bit more entertaining. And yeah, it's just a good film, and it's good to see how Matt Damon's character sort of copes with it all. Obviously, he plants some potatoes using his little habitat that he's got, and some polythene sheets and his own shit. And that's got quite a funny sequence. And then it's the science behind making water. And then he has a funny little moment where he talks about you make water by doing all this sciencey stuff that I can't repeat. And he said, but obviously, if we look back through history, there has never been any problems when somebody sets fire to helium, or hydrogen rather. And the next thing you see is him trying to set up his water filter, and it blows up and knocks him flying. And he like sits back down in front of the camera and he's steaming away. He's just like, I'm just going to sit here for a bit and just, calm down from being blown up. He's got a really cool little rover that he goes traveling around on Mars with to get supplies and see if he can investigate things. Basically, the story is that, for those that you don't know, and I don't think anyone out there doesn't know, but so there's a mission to Mars called Ares 3 with crew of 4 or 5, and they've landed on Mars. They're doing their sciencey bit, and then a massive storm appears, and it's a risk of damaging their shuttle back. So they leave the planet and head home early than expected. But as the storm hits, Matt Damon's character gets hit by a flying bit of debris, and they assume he's dead and they leave without him. And then he wakes up and he's not dead, and he's got to survive for, I think it was 560 something days before anyone could sort of get back to him. And he has to find a way to communicate with NASA. He has to find a way to grow food. He has to find a way to make water. He has to deal with the pressures of obviously being alone on a planet. He's the only person on that planet. And
Or so they say.
or so they say.
NASA.
But yeah, it's just good. I think, because I like the way it works now. It's an entertaining film. It is a bit comedic, which is probably why it got entered into the comedy awards.
Yeah, a lot of unhappy comedians about that.
Yeah, it's. I mean, it's not hilarious. It's not a comedy film, but it does have a comedic edge to it. I would have actually quite liked perhaps a little bit of a darker film about a bit like Moon, the pressures of being, because he talks about it in quite a sensible way, and quite an interesting way about, he is the only person on that planet. If he walks to the top of a crater, he's the first person to have ever walked to the top of that crater. If he goes for a pee outside, he's the first, not that you would because your suit's obviously going to take off. He'd be the first person to do that. And he'd be the first person to, he's the only person there, and he's doing all these things. And yet he can't talk to anyone for the first part of the film. He can't talk to anyone. He can't have a conversation with anyone. He can't do anything. And I just would have liked perhaps a bit darker side to it, where it investigates what that would do to your mind, because it would fuck you up. No matter how strong an astronaut you are, it would completely mess you up. But he eventually gets in contact with NASA through some trickery with some other bits and pieces that he finds out there. And yeah, and then it's just about getting him back, and I just like it. It was very good. It seemed very intelligent, but also at the same time understandable. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
I am pretty sure that whole story is ripped off from a very, very old YouTube thing, where it's one guy stuck on the moon, and it's I think it's the same thing, that the people just left without him. And then it's just like, it's a very, very old YouTube thing. I think it's from like one of the.
Are you thinking of the John Lewis Christmas?
No. It's
I'm joking.
It's like I can't think of the name of it. Just tried searching it in YouTube, but I can't find it. It's actually a guy it's just, the whole program is like, whole YouTube things, they're like 5-minute videos, and it's a guy on the moon, and it is a spacesuit, and then they Photoshop it to make his arms move and stuff like that. And it's just him having a go at NASA because they won't send another shuttle back to the moon to pick him up. And it takes years and years, and then like one person comes, and then the shuttle breaks down, and then like another person comes, and it falls and kills the guy, like the guy that's come to save him. And then at one point he overhears their conversation. They're talking about going to Mars. He's like, "You're going to Mars? You still haven't brought me back?" And it was it's from the last moon mission, so it's from like the 60s, and he's been there now. Or roughly now. So he's been there for like 50 years, and they won't come and pick him back up. Yeah, it's really funny. I think it's about a 10 episode series, probably from about 2009, 2010. And the book was written in 2011, so.
Are you sure you're not thinking about the movie Moon?
Nope.
That was more about clones, wasn't it? Oh, shit.
Yeah, I pointed out that is a fairly prominent spoiler for that film.
Yeah, fair dues on that one.
That's not like a
bleep that out.
That's not like a normal spoiler. That's like that's the entire premise of the film.
Whoopsie.
Oh, right.
Yeah, so I liked it. I would probably give it 3 stars.
Okay.
Which is good.
Yeah, I definitely want to see it. I kind of just probably didn't see it in the cinema because it looked.
It's got some great, effects and cinematography in it, which you wouldn't really think was capable being on a red dust planet, but
yeah, you wouldn't. But as long as it's doing its job well, that's pretty cool.
It's good.
Yeah. All right. I am going to talk about. Oh no, me and Carl are going to talk about Deadpool,
Oh shit!
but we
dog.
went quite long, so we probably won't talk about this too long. But basically, Deadpool. And also, it's very new, so we don't want to spoil it. But Deadpool's like super good, right?
Oh fuck! Yes.
For a start, beyond anything else, I want to say, for the budget it is on, which is like a $58 million budget, like Colossus looks ridiculously good.
He looks so much better than he did in any of the X-Men films.
Is he in any of the
Insane.
X-Men films?
Yeah, he's in X-Men 3, I
It's
think.
the one where he picks up a TV.
Yeah.
He's roaming the halls and he picks
okay.
up a TV.
The only thing is, right? Can you help me with this? Because I'm really not sure. Because they keep indicating either way. But is in the Deadpool universe.
Yeah.
Which they explain from X-Men Origins. I think it's like just not even in the film, but they just said, oh well, because of Days of Future Past, the timeline's been rewritten.
Yeah.
That
does happen in Days of Future Past.
Yeah. Is Colossus gay?
I don't know.
Because obviously in I think the Ultimate Comics he is.
I honestly can't remember if he's gay in Ultimate.
He is.
Okay. Fair enough.
It's in one of the universes. He's
Why?
gay because he's best friends with Nightcrawler, who used to be a priest, and he has a really tough time coming to terms with the fact that Colossus is gay. But at one point, Deadpool mentions a wife, which I'm pretty sure he doesn't have. But I think that was just like a phrase he threw out. But there's a lot of things that kind of slightly indicate that Colossus is gay in that film. But there's not any solidifying proof of it. It's not that important, but I was just watching
But
it.
there's been loads of talk about Ryan Reynolds wanting Deadpool to have a boyfriend for the second film.
Yeah, he Deadpool is
because he's pansexual.
He'd fuck anything. Like literally anything. A unicorn. Which if you watch the film you understand.
Yeah.
I will be seeing it.
Yeah,
soon.
that it's one of the best written. I mean, there's a few things that they don't quite get on the origin stories, and obviously they have to change stuff for a film, which I'm always happy about. But it's very close to what actually happened for the origin of Deadpool.
Yeah, well, an origin of Deadpool, sure.
Well, yeah, you can never say one singular origin for comic books. But yeah, there's a lot of. The whole point is him tracking down the guy that basically made him Deadpool, and that is a major point in Deadpool lore.
Yeah.
Though they completely changed the character that did it to him, and
I was going to say, isn't that Stryker?
no. I think originally it's kind of like it's a fat like scientist guy or something. But in this film, because they need a antagonist, he's not fat. He's a very agile and masculine man.
Is that who Ed Skrin played?
Yeah,
British
that's
guy,
where
looks
yeah,
like Nicholas
yeah.
Hoult.
plays a character called Ajax / Francis.
Spoilers.
That's definitely not a spoiler.
No, seriously. Before I watched that film, I saw a thing on Facebook that was like Ajax and Francis, and I was like, I don't have any idea for what that is. And then I watched the film, and Deadpool starts talking about Francis because the timeline is very broken up in that film.
Yeah, so it's really smart to put together. So the bit you've seen in the trailers, which is the highway fight, is probably actually the first hour of the film, I would guess. Something like that. But
if you're not counting up for breaking up of time.
Well, that's my point. Yeah, it's like so that.
I mean, if you are counting for that.
Yeah, so that the fight actually is only about 10 minutes, but they keep basically it's just got lots of flashbacks in it to how he becomes Deadpool.
But they work it in perfectly.
It's done
like
really well.
Yeah, it's not like, oh, why is there suddenly a flashback here? And especially because Deadpool does break the fourth wall, it makes even more sense.
And at one point breaks the fourth wall in a fourth wall break to make a 16 wall break.
Yeah, yeah,
which is great.
Yeah, and there's some. It is one of the best and almost serious, most serious, like not Marvel Universe, but comic book that's based on Marvel stuff or any comic book film, but also with some of the best comedy.
Oh, the comedy in it's fabulous.
Yeah,
Like, the comedy is absolutely perfect.
like
It
the
is-
baby hand.
Yeah, but it is
That made
genuinely
me laugh
funny
so much.
throughout.
Yeah.
There
I
is,
literally spit my drink when he has the baby hand.
yeah,
I spit my drink out
that's
laughing.
really funny. And you're gonna get that joke list when you see it, and you will agree with us, I think.
I was gonna say, I'm trying to work out what that could
The
possibly mean.
only thing that I say, it's not a literal baby hand.
But
It's not like he
Oh.
severed a baby's
Is it a-
hand, which would be possible for.
Is it a penis?
No,
not at all.
Ah.
it is a hand.
But it's just a really good film. Like, it's
Yeah.
very, very, very enjoyable. They've done a fabulous job with it. Ryan Reynolds has stayed perfectly true to the character. Like, absolutely perfectly true to the character.
But he's the whole
Yeah.
reason it's
Yeah, well, that's what.
11 years he's been.
Yeah,
trying
that's
to
what
get that
I
made.
wanted to say when you said about the cost of the film. Yeah, the cost was fairly low for big blockbuster films, but what could have even been more detrimental is how easily you could ruin Deadpool.
Yeah.
And they,
Well, they did once already.
yeah, but not even in that way. I mean, just like over cheesing him, and making him more like Borderlands 3, like the movie of Borderlands or something. Like, they kept it so level while still being so hilarious that it wasn't over the top. And yeah, as you said, Ryan Reynolds has been fighting for this film for so long, and you can really see it come through in every single scene of that film. And even saying that, literally in the opening credits to the film, it says, like, it's all a piss take, all the opening credits. It doesn't have anyone's real name. But at one point it says, like, the writers, and it's like, says something really like complimentary about the writers. And then it says producers, and it's just like completely takes the piss out of the producers. And it's like, it's so hateful towards the studio because it made them work so hard and basically to make a fake trailer, and pretend to leak it out there to convince their own studio. It was like an insurgents team within the studio to make that film happen. And then obviously the part of the original trailer of that film's in there, and then they do that.
Well, that is kind of the highway fight. Is
Yeah, well, that's the start to the highway fight, where the rest of the highway fight's in the later trailers. But that initial one, yeah, is in there, and they add to it as well. It's not like they just cut and pasted it in there. They add a bit, and they add a little fourth wall bit in there that makes it even better. And yeah,
Well, it paid off because it's made shitloads
Yeah,
of
it
money.
really has.
well, it's I think tripled the budget,
And
It
it's
It
tripled
tripled the
opening
budget in
weekend,
like its
weekend.
opening weekend, yeah. Which is insane. Like, no film has no superhero film has probably done that ever. Just
I don't
because
know, really. Guardians, maybe.
Guardians probably quite a high budget because there's a lot of CGI in it.
Yeah, good point. I guess. Yeah.
Avengers must have done.
Like, Avengers might have done, I suppose.
Yeah, the only bad thing about this film is that it might have a negative effect on the budget of other superhero films to come.
Yeah.
And the studios might be like, oh, you don't need that much budget. Look at this film. It's like, well, we've got a lot of different stuff. Like, this is Avengers 4. Like, there's like 7 people in this film, 7 heroes. Like, that was just one.
That's 70 million
Yeah.
gone already.
Yeah, there are. You couldn't make any other film. You couldn't make another superhero film for the budget of this film.
Yeah,
Or it
and I
would be
think that
very
was
difficult to.
Yeah, and I said that was a passion project as well. So that was, I imagine, Reynolds took a massive pay cut.
Oh, absolutely. He probably did it very cheap.
Yeah, and the fact that he stole
But
the suit.
he's done it smartly because he did it cheap to ensure that he like gets to found a franchise, basically.
Yeah.
So for the next film,
Yeah.
I bet you he'll get paid a lot more.
Mm.
And also, he'd probably take
He's definitely taken a lot on the
and-
back end of this. Like,
Yeah, he's probably
or
got
box
a decent
office.
amount of that. And as I said, he stole the suit.
he did.
He walked off on the last day of the set with the suit.
Which
But,
the quote
yeah,
is
yeah.
great because he was asked like, did you take anything from the film? It's like, I took 2 things. I took the unicorn, which is used for, we can't really say, but it's used in a funny scene in the film.
I mean,
And
it's not a big spoiler, but
Yeah,
yes, it's a great thing.
It's like, I took the unicorn and I took the suit because I waited 10 fucking years to make this movie. Of course, I'm taking the suit.
And he's said about that a few times, and then there's like he's gone further into it with like, there was other people that saw him walk off with it, and they were like, "Oh, don't you want to take the suit off?" And he was like, "No, oh, I'm leaving with it."
No, it's
And I guess he just left his clothes there, and just left it in the suit, drove home or something, wearing his Deadpool suit.
Which, to be fair, I would have.
Oh fuck yeah! Any superhero film, you would take it. Apparently, Ben Affleck said he wanted to take the Batman suit
and
home. They were like,
"It's $100,000 if you want to take it home."
And he was like, "Oh, okay." And Ryan Reynolds was like, "No, fuck it, I ain't paying you."
It's like, I'm taking the fucking suit.
To be fair, the amount of money he probably got to pay to be Batman, he'd probably just go take out my salary.
That's true. If he wanted to,
that was the one good.
I would have done for a Batman suit. Mind you, the Batman versus Superman suit looks fucking.
What
stupid.
are you talking about? It's the best suit.
No, that whole film just looks
that
like
is
an
the best
absolute
Batman
car
suit.
crash.
But I did see someone say, I saw another thing online about that thing, like comparing the two. They said this just proves that Ryan Reynolds is Deadpool, and Ben Affleck is not Bruce Wayne, because Bruce Wayne would have bought that suit.
Yeah.
Oh, Bruce Wayne would have taken it and been like, "Yeah, it's chump change, mate, isn't it?"
Yeah, exactly. It's like, well, you're like, it's a bit unfair. Bruce Wayne has a shit lot more money than I'm sure Ben Affleck has. Ben Affleck's rich, but Bruce Wayne...
Ben Affleck is not, like, industrialist rich.
No.
He won't be rich after the divorce.
Right. But yeah.
Wait, what
I'm
divorce?
just saying. He's getting divorced from thingy.
Who's he married to?
Jennifer Garner, he was, before he cheated on her.
Was he? I did not know about this. Or you can say Jennifer Lopez or something. They never got married.
No, Jennifer Garner after Daredevil.
Oh, yeah.
Which is a terrible because every time you think, like, "Oh, so how did you meet?" And then every time they have to tell someone, they, like, have to remember
That's why they're getting divorced.
Yeah, that's the thing. And also...
They're going to get back together again afterwards.
He's
just said it...
Ben Affleck has ruined Daredevil and been given Batman. Ryan Reynolds ruined Green Lantern, or was part of a film that was shit, and then was given Deadpool. It's like, they're just picking and choosing. Oh, we'll give you one superhero failure, and then we'll two, you're out.
Well,
so they're both just like, well, we got to make this work now.
It's the opposite studio though, isn't it? It's the opposite company. So if you mess up with with like Marvel or DC, and you get moved on to the other,
you go to Fox.
Well, no, that's what Carl says. It's like, if you mess up a Marvel movie, you get given a DC movie. If you mess up a DC movie, you get given a Marvel movie.
Sorry.
Well, that was the biggest problem though, because obviously Wolverine Origins came out before Green Lantern, and then he did Green Lantern because I assume he didn't think anything was going to come of Deadpool, and then Marvel said, "Oh, because you've been in a DC film, you can't be a main character." Though I guess it wasn't Marvel. I don't know. Fox said that, I guess. So that probably added.
And he was just like, "I will fucking cut you."
I have these two katanas on my back. I have not taken off since doing the film. They had to edit them out in Green Lantern.
It was super weird.
But yeah, Deadpool is a very, very lovable character. Obviously, everyone knows his kind of humor, even if it's just from like memes on Facebook. They don't go over the top with that kind of humor. I kind of thought it would be like,
I was concerned
Borderlands 2, where it was all just memes and stuff.
I was concerned it was going to be a little bit too juvenile, but they actually reel it in. Yeah,
they do it very, very well. And by reeling it in, you don't mean they didn't cut back on the comedy. They just kept that comedy very
at, like, a good level.
Yeah, they keep it very well done, and it's all original comedy. And also the scene from the bit from the trailer where they're describing how Wade Wilson Deadpool looks, like the avocado and the
that's one of the best scenes in the movie, actually.
But that in the movie, that's because you think that's just like this quick witted blow off between the two, as it is in the trailer, but it's actually a very long drawn out thing in the movie.
Yeah, because it kind of keeps coming back up over the course of a scene, and it works really well.
I think it worked really well in a trailer format, but I think in the film it might have been seen as too much of a let's just out joke each other.
Yeah.
And yeah,
also, I would
a lot
need to
more
say
than
the real message of the Deadpool movie is just talk to your girlfriend.
yeah.
There's like the
Even
entire,
if you're ugly as shit.
yeah, the entire second half of that film can be completely avoided if he would be willing to talk to his girlfriend, but he's not.
Well, no, it still would have been. It would have, that second half would have happened, just in a different way.
Yes, well, he would have been less miserable for the second half of the film.
I wouldn't say it was miserable for the second half of the film.
He's miserable for the middle of the film, I guess.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he's not one to be kept miserable for long.
no.
Right.
But the comedy, yeah, the main thing in this film is the comedy. It is like it is funnier than Guardians of the Galaxy. It is by far the funniest superhero movie now,
Yeah,
easily.
yeah. If Marvel don't try to do a Spider-Man with Deadpool and say we need those fucking writers, it's not going to be anyone else.
Yeah,
Then they're idiots.
yeah, because the writers nail it.
Yeah, they can. I don't want them to try and like just get that, and then Fox be like, "Okay, cool. Well, we'll give you some new writers." It's like, no, because they will fuck it up, or most likely fuck it up, because the chances of fucking that up is very, very high.
Yeah, absolutely. Although you got to remember, because Sony is Spider-Man.
Yes, yeah. But Marvel and Fox are doing a thing now. They're doing Hellfire Club on Netflix.
Oh, okay.
They're doing a TV show based on the Hellfire Club from X-Men.
I like Hellfire Club. I'm on board with that.
Yeah. Though the head of Hellfire Club was killed in First Class.
Yeah, but they can write around that.
Yeah.
It's not a difficult thing to write around. But anyway, yes, definitely go see Deadpool. It is very, very good. It is very, very funny. And it definitely doesn't miss a beat throughout.
No.
There's no point in the movie where I was ever like, oh, I'm not enjoying this
Yeah.
specific bit.
No,
It is funny from front to back.
Yeah, and that's just not it. It's dramatic from front to back, and it's so full of
Yeah.
action as well.
Yeah.
No one of those 3 points outweighs the other in a way that it's a lopsided film.
Yeah, I've seen a few people say that maybe it's a little action light, and I would probably... I think it's got an amount that works for it.
Yeah, I can almost see where they're coming from, but no. The only reason that I'd say that they could think it's action light is because of the amount of cutscenes.
Not
cutscenes,
cutscenes.
sorry, cutbacks.
Yeah, it's because it's constantly doing like just jumping between stuff. Because bits of that film are told in a very non-linear fashion.
Yeah,
so because it's got so many flashbacks and stuff, it kind of intersperses it a lot.
Yeah, and there a lot of the non-fighting scenes is a lot of the flashbacks and stuff, which is necessary to the story.
I guess I would say the only bit of it I feel is probably too long. It's probably the him becoming Deadpool bit, like the bit where he's getting where he kind of goes through this experimentation stuff. That bit's probably 5 minutes too long.
Yeah, but that's also to build up.
It builds up the rest of the film. Like the rest of the film doesn't work otherwise.
Yeah, I mean it is a bit long, but you need that because it's not like he becomes Deadpool and then does something completely unrelated. This is all based on that whole scenario,
and it's just full of jokes and references as well. Like
did you
constantly?
Did you watch the post-credit scene?
I watched the post-credit scene and the post-credit scene.
Wait, what's the post-credit scene?
I was going to say, my friend told me to not leave until the lights are
two.
up.
I'm pretty sure I didn't leave till the lights were up.
It's basically one that's split into two parts.
Oh yeah, I think I did see that then.
Yeah.
Because he says one bit and he's like, "Oh, you think there's a post-credit scene?" And then
there's basically the bit from the end of Ferris Bueller's Day Off, where he's like, "What do you expect?" Blah blah blah. It's that.
Yeah.
But then there's a bit after that which is kind of done in the same style. That is really not. It's sort of funny, but sort of it's very fourth wall break. Like the whole of that sequence is very fourth wall breaky, but that gets even more fourth wall breaky.
Well, the thing is, there's there's nothing, there's not another character in it. It's just him and the camera.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is, I'm excited about is that announced the fact that they are doing well. Before I even saw it, I saw that they definitely announced that there's going to be a Deadpool 2.
Yeah, there's going to be a Deadpool 2, and they're probably going to make an X-Force film. And put him in that.
Most likely later. But this is the Deadpool 2 will have Cable in it. Yeah. And if anyone knows the Deadpool comics, they know that Cable and Deadpool are a big...
They're frenemies, basically.
Yes, they're a big tag team in the comics. I've got many Cable and Deadpool comics.
Yeah.
But
it is very much a frenemy relationship.
Yeah. Yes, it's very much so. Well, Deadpool will love and hate anything at a whim. Cable Cable's very much the
Cable
straight
just fucking
man.
hates him. Cable
And
hates
he just hates him and doesn't want him around. But Deadpool's just always there, or he just for some reason he needs him for something. Which is the one other exciting thing as I end this discussion. I think is there was no teleportation belt in this film.
No,
which is a little bit upsetting. But
I feel that would have been difficult to explain, though.
Yes, yeah, definitely. I mean, well, they could have put it in, but I mean, the action after he turns to Deadpool proper.
Yeah, but also for me, like, that's not a super integral part of the character.
No, but I think they'll bring it in with.
Well,
Cable.
It kind of only
That's
works.
how they're explaining
it kind of only works if you've got Cable. Like,
well, no, I don't even think Cable was the one that brought it in the storyline.
No, but it
was Weasel.
But I think it works. I think it works in that universe.
Yes,
it only works with Cable.
Yeah. In the time restricted universe of a film, it will work a lot better with Cable, and that's why I think that will come in. They can't ignore that for 2 films because that's quite a big part of Deadpool is his teleportation belt.
Oh wait, also last 2 things. The role of the X-Men in it is very good. It makes sense. I really enjoyed it.
Oh, and they even make jokes about the fact that he only sees the 2 X-Men.
Yeah.
He turns up to the house and he's like,
it's almost as if the studio couldn't afford to get in more than 2 X-Men.
Yeah. For such a big house, I only ever see 2 of you.
Yeah. And the other bit I like is just like Negasonic Teenage Warhead is great.
She's brilliant.
She plays a perfect moody teenager.
Yeah, and the character arc with her as well.
Yeah, and just constantly jokes about Deadpool being old, which is great.
It works so well with her character arc with Deadpool, and like, spoiler, the turnaround of her with Deadpool at the end, which is kind of obvious. You know it's going to happen. But like, it makes sense that if any adult she does a semi-attached to, it would be Deadpool.
But I really like the fact that she they don't show her powers at all until like the final fight.
Yes,
and then they very slowly build up to show you what her true power level is.
Yeah,
and her true power level is fucking insane. Like
she's got to be like nearly a level 3 mutant.
You see like her
level 3. I think it's level 3.
But you see like I can't remember how the mutant. It's how mutant.
I think
power
level 3 is Iceman.
No, Iceman's like a mega level mutant.
Yeah. No, I think level 3 is the highest level, isn't it?
No, a mega level is the highest level.
Oh well, maybe that's technically level 4.
I can't remember. But anyway, yeah, she is like super fucking powerful. Like it's you don't expect it because they show her becoming slowly more powerful in this fight.
Well, it's because it's not like oh she unlocks it. It's that kind of she's just like really nervous and awkward about using it.
Yeah, and we don't want to talk about exactly how her powers work, but
no, I'm not going to say that.
But like just the way they reveal it's great, and just her final element of it is absolutely just ridiculous. And you're like, oh, I was not expecting that. And I really enjoy the way that she basically ends up becoming super powerful because she just gets pissed. And it's kind of cool. It really works. Right, I think that'll do it for Deadpool. Carl, do you want to? I don't want to rush you through this, but I was just
sorry. Sorry. I'll just quickly say it is beta, alpha, and omega level mutants. So level 3 is Omega level.
Yeah. So he's probably not Omega because Omega is ludicrously powerful.
I think there's a lot of leeway in Omega though.
No,
But
Omega is like...
But I don't think she is Omega. But I think that she would.
I was
With,
gonna say,
with training, she'd probably be.
Omega is like Professor X kind of level powerful.
No, Professor X is Alpha.
Oh, is he?
Yeah.
Right.
Iceman's Omega because if he truly attempted to work his power, he could freeze the entire planet.
Yeah. Well, the thing with Iceman is obviously you can't make things cold.
Mm.
Like the only way you make things cold is because you make them like is the ability to manipulate how atoms are vibrating, and so realistically, it basically means he has control over atomic structure if he realizes it. But in fact, he just has he only really sees it as ice. But he could make stuff super hot if he wanted to.
Yeah.
Anyway, not wanting to rush you, Carl, but we are running a little bit long. But I think it's important we talk about that dragon cancer.
It is important because otherwise, why would I be here? Yes. So I kind of wanted to have this roll off of from Firewatch in a way because they're both very, as I said with Lewis earlier, the start of Firewatch is very emotionally strong.
Yeah.
And quite depressing in a way. And as you can probably tell, if you don't know anything about this game, the word cancer kind of brings significant things to your mind. So that Dragon Cancer is a game that was developed by, it's an indie project developed by, well, I'd say one man. I think he did have help.
I think he had help on the sound design and stuff.
Yeah, though I believe all the sound was recorded by him personally.
Yeah.
But utilizing it and actual production on the sound may have been with someone else. He did take it to a indie games fair as well, where he got given a lot of money, or a decent amount of money. But yeah, so it is it's a game developed by a father about his struggle and his son's struggle with cancer. His son being from the age of 1 to 5, I think. He struggles with cancer, and as a spoiler, and it's not really a spoiler, that he ultimately loses to his struggle with cancer. The dragon is a complete metaphor that they actually make use of in the game at one point. That is fascinating. This game is, if you don't like sad games,
kind of why I haven't played it.
Yeah, the thing is, as I said, like, well, people that know my stuff, my the way I put myself out there on the internet, YouTube, and my podcast, may know that I personally suffer from depression. So I was automatically interested in this game because of its subject matter, but also was really scared about trying to play it because I'm very much of an emotional sponge. So I was a bit worried, and so
also
I thought,
an actual sponge. We can't put you out in the rain.
No, you can't. Yeah, it's been terrible life. That's why I have depression.
Yeah,
because I can't go outside anytime, even if the moisture in the air is too high.
Yep, it's terrible.
I can't go out there.
Sorry, that's a really bad joke.
But yeah. Wait, where was I? Emotional sponge, the game. Yeah, so I heard this game originally the same way that Kris did, which was through Radiolab. I would say definitely. Do you know what the episode was called?
Oh, I can't remember, but yeah, you should go find it. I think you probably search for Radiolab that Dragon Cancer, you'll find it.
I mean, it was about 4 weeks ago, I think.
Yeah, it'd be a little bit longer, but yeah, something like
from around
4 or 5 weeks ago, sometime early January.
Yeah, sometime around then. So yeah, just look for any Radiolab episode from January onwards. They have the full story of the game's development in there, where it's basically this dad wants to create this game as his son's suffering. He's kind of like a budding game developer himself, but it's not in a way that he wants to just take advantage of this. It's more of a I can't remember the bloody word. Memorial to his son.
Yeah, very
in
much
a way.
So.
and it's just chronicalizing it as it goes along, because he's started development before his son does die, and all the sound effects in the game are the actual sound effects of his son, which just makes it so much more sad, because you hear him being happy, and it makes you smile like you can't believe. And then
that sounds horrible.
Yeah, and then you hear the actual sound effects of the actual sounds of him in hospital. And about not even near halfway through the game, it goes to a point where where he's in a hospital bed crying, probably at the age of 1 or 2, and you can't do anything to calm him down.
And that's kind of that scene is the original inspiration for the whole game.
Yeah, that was the first scene he made. That was the first scene that was the first bit that made him make the game, and then that was the first scene he made. And that was the scene that he showed to production people to get more money to make the game. That is so sad doing that. And then as much as I can describe this game, if I keep carrying on the way I am, you'll think that this is the most upsetting game you'll ever play. But there's so much happiness to this game. He has a older brother who doesn't understand, because he's very young still himself, only like a year or 2 older. He doesn't understand the situation in the slightest. So the start of the game, it opens up and you're throwing bread into a lake, and the older brother starts saying stuff like, thingy, I can't remember his name now. Cancer kid. Can't speak, can he? And he's like, no. And he's like, oh, why can't he speak? He's 4, he should be able to speak. It's like, oh, well, he got sick when he was very young. And you see this parent have to try and describe that. But there's so much happiness with those two and with the whole family. Like, after that scene, you go and you play on the swings for a while, and then you do all the stuff and you hear the child's laughter, and you go through different items in the play park. And then he's on a hospital bed after that. Kind of depressing. But then when you're in the hospital later on, you also have there's quite a few mini games in it. And at one point in the hospital, you have a little racetrack around the hospital, around the ward he's in. And you go around and he's like riding on the back and he's laughing and stuff, and it's really fun, and you're like just grinning the entire time, like no other game has made you. And you're picking up all like this fruit on the way. And then as you finish, like as you would like a points in a racing game, and then when you finish it, it goes for the finish line, and then it shows your score, your time, and then it shows all the fruit you collected, and they're not fruit; they're actually cancer pills, and it has all the names of the different cancer pills. And I was like, oh, I really enjoyed that bit, but now I'm really sad again. And suddenly, and that's the point. It's that living life with this isn't always sad, but at the end of the day, you are reminded of what's happening. So you will have, like, the day will start off really sad, where you can't stop him from crying, and then eventually he'll just stop for no reason that you can't work it out, and then you have loads of fun with him. And then you, after the fun wears off, you remember, oh, he's dying of cancer.
Yeah.
And this kind of goes on in a back and forth throughout the game. Obviously not similar things. They have different ways of doing it. As I said, the dragon metaphor becomes almost literal at one point, because you have a arcade machine where you're telling the other... There's actually not one kid. There's 2 other kids that I think they have 3 kids, and you're telling the other 2 kids about a bedtime story, and it's actually describing your son fighting cancer, and it has this big hero story, and why he's telling this story, you're going through this arcade, and then the final boss is this dragon, which is cancer. That's not the end of the game, but that's the end of that bit once you do that. And yeah, there's so much. I find it hard to describe at times, and I'm actually watering up a little bit as I talk about it, remembering me playing it. But yeah, there's very back and forth with how you feel about what's going on with this, and they do that perfectly. It's not like you being ripped from one to the other. But then also, as I said, it's created by the father, but the mother is there. And at points with her, it almost turns into a religious story. Because you realise as you play on that she's actually very Christian. Well, I say very Christian. She's not overwhelmingly Christian. And as a agnostic / atheist myself, I can get turned away by that kind of thing quite easily. But the way they put it in is very good. And the father himself is Christian, but the way there's the whole game is metaphors constantly, and there's one point where you're actually swimming through the sea, and you're drowning, and the wife's on a boat, and she's like, "Just have faith, everything will be okay, and you don't have to drown." And he's like, "No, I need this." And she's like, "Look, just stop thinking negatively, because that's not going to help anyone." And he says, "Well, someone has to feel this way," and then drowns metaphorically. So there's just so in depth with that kind of stuff, and it's not the gamiest of games you will play, but it is a very rewarding experience.
I think it'd be kind of weird if it was a super gamey game.
Yeah,
Like
yeah, and that's what I say. They put mini games in there to make it to give you something, and that helps describe like the happy points and stuff, and not just the happy points, but the arcade game kind of is like the faith, or I mean, it's told from dad's perspective. It's not really faith; it's more like fake faith for the kids, like putting on a show for them. And that adds the more gamey aspects, but it's kind of like a really stripped down Telltale's game or something. The artwork is very, very basic, but it's kind of jarring as you first open it up. It's very, very, very beautiful.
Yeah.
But when you see that no one has a face, at first it's a bit jarring, but I think that works better in the long run. Yeah. And also I feel that
it means that people connect to it with their own stories.
Yeah, exactly. You project a lot more onto these characters because they're just a body and head. There's no physical features really. So it's a lot easier to put that on there. And I think it was a hell of a lot easier for the dad to actually make that game.
Oh, for sure.
Without having to put his own child's face in there.
I don't think he could have done it if he had.
Yeah. But yeah, I definitely say it's very, very cheap. Let me quickly find the price for it. It's on Steam, and it came out start of February, I think, about. Because the $10.99. The Radiolab story came out, as we said, about early January, and it was about 2 weeks after that. But I would definitely say to listen if you want to play this game, and definitely play this game. If you're looking for a very gamey game, then don't. But if you want a very strong narrative experience, then this is exactly the perfect game. As long as you can take the crushing lows of this game, but there are great highs during it. But yeah, I would say listen to the Radiolab podcast episode on it first. You can listen to it after. It's not going to change it too much, but it gives you a bit more insight into what the game is and how it was made. Like if it doesn't say in the game all these sounds are actually the actual sounds of my son. If it didn't say that, then if I didn't know that from listening to the Radiolab episode, it wouldn't have affected me as much. But I think knowing the more in-depth details about the game,
for sure, it kind of feels like it needs a. Whereas sometimes games, particularly on Steam, come with documentaries and things.
Yeah,
and it feels like it would really benefit from that, and the Radiolab episode does serve as that nicely.
Yeah.
But, yeah, it's one of those games where the context to its development is very important.
This is so quickly from the Steam things. This is say Polygon's review, a quick review on Steam. It says, "I think it might have changed me in some way that I'm yet to fully understand. If you play this game, it may change you."
Yeah.
The Verge. I've played a lot of games, but nothing has felt as important or rewarding as making Joel giggle.
Yeah, I kind of think that's a lot of people are going to experience it like that.
Yeah.
It's just
Someone, actually, I said someone. The guy's actual Steam name is Someone. Funny enough, his review is Crying Simulator 2016. Yeah, if you aren't afraid to feel emotions yourself, and as someone who gets too many, I'm actually very scared of feeling my own emotions. I try to escape them a lot, and this was a nice way of touching on them without your own actual emotions.
It's I don't know. It just feels like it's, as you say, a hard game.
It is.
Like much harder than any game for like gameplay difficulty, in that this forces you to confront something very fundamental about yourself.
Yeah.
See, I'm the opposite of you. Because I also suffer from depression and have had it quite bad in the past, as Kris will probably know. But for me, those sorts of, which is why I love the dark films and sad songs and sad games and games that connect me on emotionally, is because that is my release.
Yes.
Yeah.
I know.
You know, that is being able to put on a sad song and, you know, connect to it, or watch a film and lose yourself for a couple of hours and it make you cry or it make you feel something. That is my release. So that sounds like a game that, I'm quite interested in.
Yeah, see, that I think that is actually a problem in my own personal way, is that I constantly am running. But I won't turn this podcast into talking about that kind of thing. But yeah, I very much am one to not allow myself to.
I'd also like to make it clear you're not actually running.
No.
Very rarely do you, in fact, actually run.
No, sometimes I might go on a stroll, slow pace walk.
Which kind of doesn't work really as
No.
a metaphor.
No.
I often go on a slow pace walk away from my demons.
Well, if they're zombies.
I guess that would work. Yeah, it's a good point. I can't argue with that. Right, well, let's move on to question time. Question time!
Right, I have a question quickly.
Yeah.
Because the zombie remark reminded me quickly. You know, you spoke last week, you spoke about Amazon's lumberyard.
Yeah.
And their one thing that you can harm a human.
For zombies, yeah. No, it's just you can harm people or something.
Well, you can harm someone else, whatever.
Yeah. You can use it for harm.
It does not say zombies.
It doesn't say zombies. It heavily implies zombies.
Yeah, it implies a very specific scenario of zombies.
Yes.
If magical zombies, or zombies that aren't spread by disease, come about, you can't use lumberyard to harm those zombies.
Well, yeah. Well,
Legally, you're not allowed to do it.
But that's what I feel that's what they're concerned about. They're not concerned about magical zombies.
Say, aren't zombies? The magical zombies would have to be called something else, because they wouldn't technically be zombies.
But that was the original zombies. Well, technically, the original zombies are Haitian zombies, but they were kind of magical. But they're not technically magical, but they're also not disease. They're through chemicals, basically.
Yeah, that is true.
So what if it was a zombie like that? You cannot kill it with lumberyard.
Kill it with fire instead.
However, lumberyard is going to be used to harm people. God knows.
It's the ultimate zombie killing tool, clearly.
Yeah, clearly.
Otherwise, they would not have marketed it that way.
Right, actual questions.
Question time.
So, from Indie Marathon, which is Lucy, she says, did Lewis finish Unravel?
No, I started playing it a bit more today, but The Witness and Firewatch distracted me heavily.
You did finish Firewatch? And also, are any of you Hitman fans? How do you feel about the episodic model? I'm all for it.
That is very old news.
We discussed
No,
this
but I
last
think
week,
it's because it's
but,
nearly out, or it's in beta now, or whatever.
Yes, it's out in beta now, yeah.
I'm not a Hitman fan at all. I like the idea of it. I just don't think the games have lived up to that idea. So I'm actually looking forward to the episodic content because I think it will suit that style of game more than a full retail release, in my opinion. I know there are loads of Hitman fans out there and it's worked perfectly fine for them up until now, but I just think there's always been something off with the actual games themselves. So
I'm not a huge fan, but what I will say is listen to episode 9 of the Nerdface podcast. And there, me and Kris and other people actually
don't come on here and promote your podcast.
Like, Kris was in it, so it's relevant.
Was I?
That was the Game of the Year podcast.
Oh yeah.
And we talk about Hitman's model in that because we're talking about the most anticipated games of 2016. But yeah, no, I feel it is a bit odd. But in the way that they're doing it, personally, the way that they're actually doing it, where they're saying, like, this is an area you have, and then you have your one major mission there, and then they seem to be adding procedurally generated missions within that as well. It does seem to work from like their idea of what it is. I'm yet to see how it works in action. I haven't played the beta that came out, I think, 2 days ago, I think it came out on the 16th.
Yeah, something like that.
I haven't seen anything or played it, but it seems like it could be a good idea, but it is... I don't know. I don't know until I've played it or someone else that I know who is a big Hitman fan, like Josh, who was on the Nerdface podcast, has played it as well.
Okay. I'm in favour of the episodic model for it, I think, but I haven't played it. Like, I haven't played the beta. Haven't played any of this at preview events. I like Hitman in general. I haven't played a lot of them, but I do like it. And this one does look gorgeous, and I'm kind of interested in how they play the episodic model and what they do with it. But yeah, I agree with Lucy. I am all for it. Really, it seems like it's good. It's a good way to go, and for games that are mission based, there's no real reason you can't do this. I feel this wouldn't work with something like Uncharted, where
or GTA.
Where the whole game kind of flows together. But with a game that is so mission orientated, it does work as an episodic game.
And it's very much area.
Yeah, I know.
Landscape.
And with the way that they are seemingly like reusing the same levels for like contracts mode, etc., then it makes sense. So yeah, it's all good. Nothing bad about this. All in favour of it.
AI.
Everyone say yes. Lewis, you in favour of it?
Yes, I think the Hitman model will work.
Anyway, that's going to do it for this episode of the TheSixthAxis podcast.
Was that the only question?
Yeah.
What, one question?
Do you get more than one question, Carl?
I don't ask you questions for that specific reason.
No.
I only get a one.
We had more people say hello this week, which is good.
No questions. Right, I'm going to find a question.
All right, go.
Who do you think is the best X-Men?
Wait, who do I think is the best X-Man?
Who do you think is the best mutant from the X-Men universe? Avengers universe. Oh, so follow-up question. Do you think the X-Men universe should be combined with the Marvel universe?
No.
Or does it just complicate matters?
Yes.
Yeah, exactly. That's my exact thing. I don't mean in just the films, in the comics in general.
Oh, no.
No, it complicates everything.
No.
Because, like, in the comics, you have everyone that's like, oh, I got my superpower from this one specific thing, and I'm saving all these people. If people are getting superpowers willy-nilly, like they are in the Marvel Universe, and there's also people spotting up everywhere with mutant abilities, it just complicates everything.
Well, who is your favourite X-person?
My X-person?
Yeah.
Very, PC.
They used to be a person, they're not anymore.
Oh, that's not PC. That's kind of racist.
No, it's not.
How is someone not a person because they've become a mutant?
No, it was a joke on X-person.
Oh.
You see?
I'm generally not sure. Nightcrawler is one of my favourites. But that's just because I like teleportation. Not gonna say Wolverine. Deadpool technically is a mutant, though they changed that in. Actually, no, they didn't change it in this film. They went further into that in this film. But really, he has Wolverine's abilities, healing abilities.
Yes, pretty much.
But they took that out in the film. But I mean, that made it easier and neater for them to do. Also,
Gotta be Magneto.
No, what about Hope Summers?
I don't know her.
Yeah, but her powers aren't that interesting.
She's powerful as fuck, though.
Is she Cyclops' daughter?
Yeah.
From the future.
Yeah. Or Cable.
Ah.
Cable's, but he's boring as shit, but he's also Cyclops' son.
I saw a picture on Twitter the other day that Ryan Reynolds retweeted. It, the guy who's going to be playing Cable.
No, they haven't confirmed it yet.
Yeah.
Oh.
Well, I mean, that was when
Okay.
they recorded that scene. They may have confirmed it since then.
It was, I'm trying to think of his name now, or what else he's been in.
No, it's the guy from they were talking at the end of Deadpool. He suggests people like Dolph Lundgren would be good, but the new suggestion is the guy who's in Avatar,
Yes.
and they're right. He looks perfect.
Who? What? The Colonel guy?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Not the main character.
No.
Or a blue person.
No.
Or Avatar: The Last Airbender. Airbender? Yes, that's what I said. A little bald kid. Who's your favourite
go.
X-Men?
Lewis.
What?
Favorite X-Man.
Magneto,
Oh,
I said
sorry.
that.
Well, mutant. Yeah, he's not an X-Men though.
I like
Fair
Kitty
dues.
Pryde.
If we go X-Men then, so if I'm not allowed Magneto, because he's not X-Man, I will say Jean Grey.
Fair enough. At least you didn't pick Bishop.
I don't know who Bishop is.
He's a lame Cable.
Ah.
And you don't know who
Oh,
Cable
yeah,
is,
no, I
really.
do know who
He's
Bishop
time
is.
travelling. Cable is basically future time travel cyborg Jesus.
Yeah.
And Bishop is wannabe cyborg future time traveling Jesus. Yeah. They're pretty much the same person, apart from one's black and one's white, and clearly the white one is better.
You are a massive racist.
Unfortunately, that's just how they wrote it. It's not... Oh, technically that is my opinion. But...
You are right though. Like Cable, kind of Bishop is just not as good.
Yeah, he's very similar to Cable, but he's just not as good. And they just happened to make him black as well, which is possibly their own racism, that they were like, well, we want someone similar to Cable.
Yeah.
So I don't know who was made first, actually. Fair enough.
But anyway, that's going to do it for this week's podcast. Kitty Pryde is the best X-person.
She can walk through walls. That's not a fucking good ability.
She saves the whole of Earth.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Because, someone fires a giant bullet at Earth and she phases the bullet all the way through the Earth.
Whoa.
Cable was around 1 year before Bishop. 1990, Bishop was brought in 19... No, sorry, Cable was brought in 1986, actually. Bishop was 1991, so yes, they were racist.
Did you just say someone fired a giant bullet at the
Comic
Earth?
books, man.
Holy shit.
In this picture, Cable has a baby in his chest. I mean, literally in his chest. It's like the front arms and the head poking out of his chest. What the fuck?
Oh, the fuck?
Favorite super ability or favorite super character for their ability is Mr. Fantastic and
Mr. Fantastic
Invisible
stretching this is pretty cool.
No, that's shit. Mr. Fantastic and Invisible Woman's son.
Oh, what, Franklin?
Yeah, who can bend reality to his will.
Yeah, he's pretty good.
Yeah, that can't be beat. Literally.
Yeah.
How does that even work?
He decides something to happen and it happens.
Yeah, it's pretty great. He's pretty, ridiculously powerful.
Yeah.
I was going to say that is quite possibly the most powerful.
He is.
Yeah.
He is literally just terrifyingly powerful.
If you're in a fight, then he decided that you were never even born. And possibly...
Is he a bad guy?
No, he's a good guy.
No, but you imagine his teenage years were fucking hell.
So let's put it.
Oh, really
Let's
good.
put it this way,
Yeah.
right? So you know Galactus.
Yeah.
You know he has like the Silver Surfer is his herald. He's his servant.
Yeah.
Franklin Richards is so powerful that at one point Galactus becomes Franklin Richards' herald.
Oh.
So that's pretty fucking powerful.
But if he was that powerful, why doesn't he just decide that all of the bad guys never existed?
Because he thinks that people still have a right to free will, you know.
Oh, another goody two-shoes.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
And I mean, you'd be pretty bored. Like, after a while, for a while, you'd be playing around being like, oh, I want everything my way. And then
Yeah,
after
but then
that,
you just...
you're, like, fucking bored as shit.
When you get bored, you just go, all right, Silver Surfer was born. And then get rid of him.
Well, yeah, we don't
And
know
then-
how often that has happened in the universe, do we? That could have happened constantly. Right.
Pick and choose it as and when he gets bored.
Yeah, he's like, oh, fuck.
Undo everything!
Yeah, he's like, fine, go back to that timeline again. I want to see how it turns out.
What about all the other timelines he creates, though?
Destroyed.
Don't know. Probably.
Biggest murderer
In a way,
history.
let's end this podcast. This isn't the fucking Nerd Face podcast that goes on for hours on end.
The Nerd Face is the Bird Face podcast. That didn't work.
I don't know what you're trying to say.
Bye!
You can get us at TSA Podcast. You can get other episodes on YouTube on TheSixthAxis.com, on Stitcher. You can get me on Twitter as How Pro. You can get the podcast TSA Podcast. You can get Carl
You
as
can get
Carl,
you on Twitter as TSA.
TSA Podcast.
Get you on Twitter as
No,
a
you can get
TSA
me on
podcast.
Twitter as How Pro. You can get the podcast on Twitter as TSA Podcast. You can get Carl on Twitter as Carl. Is it Carl_is awesome or Carl is _awesome?
Carl is _awesome because the emphasis is on awesome.
And you can get Lewis at Lewis Gaston. That's going to do it for this week. Say goodbye, everybody.
You can also get me on
Bye-bye.
Nerdface Podcast on YouTube.
I guess you can get one like Nerdface if you want. Don't. It's not as good as this podcast.
Nerdface.net.
It's not as good as this podcast.
Or Carl is awesome on YouTube with no underscore.
Or inkpenonline.com.
Yeah. it's
Speaking
not
of
fully up there,
YouTube,
Is there anything on
did
it?
you see my...
though. Not yet.
What? Go.
Speaking of YouTube, did you see my Mad Max Lion King mashup?
Oh, I saw that you did it. I didn't see it.
Oh. Where's the support?
You didn't send it to me.
No, but I sent it on your Twitter.
Alright, that's true.
Where's...
I didn't know you were on YouTube. I'll subscribe.
I am. I'm not going to subscribe back.
Just like everyone listening to this should subscribe to me.
No, they shouldn't. Alright, say goodbye, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Goodbye.
The Sixth Axis Podcast.